Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we have a pretty disappointing change that's going to be coming to Magic to a number of different cards. I think there's about 12 different cards that are going to be affected by this. Some of them more so than others, but this is a pretty potentially significant nerf to some of these cards. All right, so if you don't know, with Bloomburrow, they've essentially changed the wording on certain cards. So the Fireglass Mentor is the first example of this, but apparently it's going to be errated backwards, which we'll talk about in a minute. They say at the beginning of your second main phase. Now, if you don't know, previously, this was phrased instead as your post-combat main phase. So now it's going to be changed so that it changes to the second main phase. Now, that wouldn't be a huge kind of significant thing for, you know, new cards that were coming out. It allows them to be able to balance things a little bit better around those cards and stuff. But apparently it's going to be errated backwards. So this is Matt over here. He's the principal Magic editor. He was talking about it on Twitter/X, and he said there are functional changes to a few cards. The second main phase is only the second one, not the third, fourth, and subsequent one. So therefore, you know, these cards that refer to the post-combat main phase will now instead refer to the second main phase. He confirmed this here. The new terms will replace the old terms on cards past, present, and future. And how does it affect cards that say it? And then the second main phase refers to just that, is what he said. This will be a change to a handful of cards, right? So that means that any card that currently is referring to the post-combat main phase will now instead to refer to just the second main phase. So, you know, having a look at the cards that are actually on it, some of these aren't going to be affected a huge amount. You know, like essentially the ones that aren't in red aren't going to be affected a huge amount unless you then go and add red into them. Say, for example, if you're running Jund or something. Most of the time, this is going to be something that's just going to continue on and you will be fine. But it's the ones that contain red which are going to suffer the most, namely Neheb. Neheb is the one that is most likely, in my opinion, going to be suffering the most from this, and potentially people are going to be pulling apart their Neheb decks because Neheb, I assume, I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but this is going to be a huge potential nerf to this. So why do I say that? So the way he works is at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you're going to add red for each life your opponent has lost this turn. This made it so it was incredibly easy for him to be able to pop off and be able to do a crazy amount of stuff because, you know, if you manage to hit, say, for example, 5, which, you know, is not that hard with him, you're going to then be able to get off a combo with Aggravated Assault, right? Like this combo where you then get that 5, you then pay it for Aggravated Assault, you untap everything, you attack with Neheb again, then you get, you know, you just continuously are able to do that. This completely butchers this. It does still, you know, you are still able to get one additional, you know, main phase off from him, but you are limited at that one purely from his ability, right? I don't know, like this is a pretty huge, significant nerf, and I don't know. There is going to be, you know, some other, you know, issues here. As I said, primarily it's going to be the characters, like we'll talk about the other ones that could potentially be affected by this, but mostly it's anyone that has red, right? Red is the color that is giving additional combat phases and then additional main phases. So all these ones that have additional main phases are then going to only refer to the second, then, you know, the other ones are only going to proc off it. These are the things that give additional main phases. So if you have a look at the other cards that are affected by it, which are these ones here that all say post-combat main phase, you know, stuff like Belby won't be affected unless you've got, you know, red. Although, you know, this does mean that it's not going to help other people. Brazier Canada Cannonade here at the beginning of your post-combat main phase. This is only going to refer to the second main phase. If you attack with the creature's turn, exile the top card of your library. So that's only going to be the second one. So that's, you know, fine unless you're comboing it and you were getting additional post-combat main phases. Florian and, Timna here are going to be big ones if you're going to have red with them. Florian already had red there. And Timna as well. They're not going to be quite as bad as the nerf to Neheb, but it is still going to be a nerf. You're still going to get punished because you're not going to have that additional main phase. You're not going to get like the additional procs off of their abilities because they only proc on the second post-combat main phase rather than, this third, fourth, and fifth. So, I don't know. This is a pretty huge errata here. Neheb players, let me know what you guys think. Personally, I'm a little bit disappointed by this. I can understand why they made the change because, it is something that was potentially limiting them at the moment by, if you have carrot cards that were going to have more second main phases, additional main phases later on. However, it's not something that I think that they need to go back and change for existing characters. I don't know, maybe you guys disagree with me. Who knows? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Have a great day and goodbye.